Hello everyone, and welcome back. Basically, this is a story of how it all began with me, my life. So, in 1969 is the year I was born, hence Des Preston 69. So that's the year I was born. I was born in a town called St Helens, and we lived in a place called Thatto Heath, or they used to call it Tatty Heath, Thatto Heath, and it was in Canberra Avenue. Now I'm the one of 5 brothers. I was the youngest of the 5 brothers. So we had David, the oldest, Colin, Graham, Ian and me, and we all lived in the house in Canberra Avenue except for one brother, the oldest one. He'd already moved out. I don't know how long ago he'd been moved out, but he had moved out before any of us. So the story is basically St Helens was a thriving town with the mines and the Pilkington's glass and Triplets glass and Ravenshead and things like that. Loads of like pubs, and half of it's not there now. But we all grew up in Thatto Heath. We had a lot of memories growing up in Thatto Heath. Being kids as we was, didn't have like computer games like we do now and things like that, but we made games up like catapults and shining mirrors in people's houses and dropping the Avon bags full of water from the bedroom windows when people knocked on the door. Just stupid little things what we did when we was kids. And my mum at the time worked at a garage called the Empire Garage, which was based in Thatto Heath near the railway station. So with my mum having 5 lads, I ended up staying at my uncle Henry's house a lot with his wife, my Auntie Frances. So my uncle and my Auntie Frances, basically, I was with them for a long time because my mum was my dad was working at Pilks, my mum was working as well, and just to get the money, and that's what she was doing. So I basically grew up to the age of 4 with my uncle Hen. Obviously seeing my brothers and everything, going back to the house and whatever, but I did spend a lot of time with my uncle Hen at the time. Then my uncle Hen lost his wife, my Auntie Frances. She died, and I ended up with my mum then all the time. And my uncle Hen moved near us, so in and out of going, seeing my uncle Hen and my mum, being with my mum and my dad and my brothers. We grew up on an estate in Eccleston, near the Griffin Inn pub, Saleswood Avenue. That's where we grew up. And then obviously Colin left home. Then there was me, Ian and Graham that was left, and then my mum fostered a little girl. So when we moved to Eccleston, I ended up going to an infant school called Chapel Lane. It's no longer there anymore. I mean, this story is leading somewhere. It's not going to be in this video, it's going to carry on, and you'll see exactly where I ended up and the shocks. So anyway, we ended up at Chapel Lane Infant School, and loved it. Loved it. My mum used to pick me up with, you remember the headscarves what they used to wear? I always remember my mum picking me up, because my mum had me when she was 40. So anyway, back to my story. So we had some great fun when we was in Eccleston and St Helens and that, because basically we had friends who used to come and stay with my mum. If they're probably watching this, Woody, Danny and Mike Downey, bloody hell, Dave Breers, Phil White. There was loads of people, just mention a few names there. Mike O'Donnell, remember him as well. And there was quite a few playing skilly or bung-off and on our bikes, attaching lights to the front of our bikes, turning the angles upside down so there was drop bars and instead of cow horns. So yeah, we had some fun. Then my mum bought a caravan in Wales. I think we had a Tourer before we had the caravan, but we had a caravan in Wales, and then we ended up with 2 caravans in Wales and a chalet. So basically, we had all our friends coming with us, jumping in. I mean, remember Woody and Andy, and we was all in back of this Simca van. My mum and my Uncle Alf driving, and we broke down, and we was picking the cat's eyes out of the road, as you do when you're kids. You wouldn't dream of doing that now, would you? But that's what we did. And the amount of times when we were saying we're going on holiday, can my friend come? Can my mates come? My mum never ever said no. Sunday dinners at my mum's, there was all our mates and us having Sunday dinner at my mum's. And my mum, they used to call her Fed. They used to call it Fed's calf, because basically she fed everybody. And if kids had run away from home, they used to come in mum's, and my mum used to phone their parents up and say, don't worry about him, he's here. So yeah, growing up was brilliant. I mean, I remember our Colin had a chopper, our Graham had a chopper, our Ian had a chopper, and I had a chipper, it was called, chipper bike. So yeah, we never went short. We all had what we wanted. Then Sergio Tacchini tracksuits and Adidas shoes, the Corsica, the Palermo, Adidas Tenerife. So we all had everything we wanted. And my dad used to go to work it seemed like he was doing every shift. Night turns, day turns, afternoon turns. And we never really seen him much. I remember him coming home one day with like this big piece of glass. It was like for hopscotch, he said. And that's all I can remember, like things like that with my dad. But we used to go to Wales, a place called Rill. And obviously everyone's heard of Rill. The run-down place now. But it wasn't like that. We used to know Wales like the back of our hands. Side streets, going to the town centre, going over the railway bridge, watching the trains underneath. And then my mum used to take us whenever there was an holidays. We've even got the coach down, and friends used to come on coach with us as well. Sean Escott was another lad who come with us, and we used to, if there was nobody to take us down in the cars, because there was that many of us, we used to get the coach down. He used to drop us off at Marine Lake, and then we used to walk down, go over the bridge, and then we was into the campsite then, park home site. And that's what we did. And then at the age of 14, I remember our Graham was helping the oldest brother David out in his garage, because old David used to be a panel beater, paint sprayer, car sprayer, and our Graham used to help him sanding the cars down and doing things. And I'd be, just for a bit of money, our David used to come down and brush floors, and I used to brush the floors and tidy up and that. And it wasn't much money obviously, but I felt like I was doing something. And then I remember old Graham dragging me away, and he said, come on, we're going home. So I ended up following old Graham and going with old Graham and going home. And apparently it was an argument what Graham and David had, as families do, saying what would happen to our Darren, because I was only like 13, 14, what would happen to our Darren if it happens to my mum and dad. And our David said he'd have to go in a home. So it didn't go down too well with our Grey. I was too young to be bothered, didn't realise, didn't think anything about it. Now, St Helens was basically a rugby town. So basically we had all the rugby players, Roy Haggerty, and we had Paul Forber. Now Paul Forber used to hang around with our Graham, and they used to be very, very close. His mum Margaret and Ernie, the dad. So we all grew up in Thatterweed, St Helens. The school that I went to was called Grange Park. I'll just show you a couple of photos of Grange Park, which was well known for like school teachers, Llewellyn, Jeff Pimlett. So there's quite a few celebrity teachers there as well. And it was absolutely brilliant at school. When you're at school, you don't really want to go to school. But then we moved on. We moved from Thatterweed, and we went to Eccleston. And when we was in Eccleston, like I say, I went to a school called Chapel Lane Infant School. Just show you a quick photo of that, what it looked like. It's no longer there. And then we went to Eccleston Mere School, which was basically, I walked out my mum's back gate and I was in the school. It was basically 40-50 steps from the house. So by that time I was 5 when we moved to Eccleston, and then I spent the rest of my childhood life at Eccleston. From there, Eccleston Mere, I went to Grange Park. The other brothers, they went to Rainford. There was only me and Colin that went to Grange Park High School. Stick with us because this story, it is a little bit of a shock. Well, it's a hell of a shock in a nice way and a sad way, to be honest. But when we moved to Eccleston, we used to go to regular trips to Wales, to Rill, like I said, in the caravan, my mum's caravan, and we used to take all our friends there. There was never a dull moment. We always took anybody. Old Graham took his mate, I took my mate, and Howard took his mate. So 3 lads would go, and there'd be 6 of us. So we all knew Julian used to be my main mate, who he next door neighbour to my mum, and he used to come with us. Woody used to go with our Ian, and Danny used to come as well. So there was quite a few, and Mike Downey. When our Graham had this fallout with our David over, say, I don't know how true it is or not true that bit is, but it all come to light. I was told something, that my dad wasn't my dad. So it never really entered my mind because I was still young, and I become a young dad. I was still at school, and I become a father to Danielle. And her mum was younger than me, so she had to have private tuition at school. From school, she had to be at home, she couldn't go to school. And it was just one of them things. I always remember my Uncle Alf coming picking us up in a Simca van. And this Simca van, what we brought down on our way to Rill, Wales, and we all jumped out this little van, picking the cat's eyes out of the road. I'll just show you a picture of the Simca van. It wasn't that exact one, but I'll show you what it looked like. And then we had, I remember going round where the oh God, the chalets was in Rill, just near the Blue Bridge, and it was called the Ferry Inn Pub, which is on my previous videos. It's now called the Marquee or something. So my Uncle Alf used to take us round the chalet site, and there was sand on the floor, and it was just like a shed basically, and he used to take us round. We used to sit on his knee, and we used to pretend we was driving the car, steering the steering wheel, and he'd be moving it at the bottom like that. So yeah, we used to think it was brilliant times, absolutely brilliant times, what I can remember. And my first pint of shandy there was with my Uncle Alf at the Ferry Inn, which I did mention in one of my videos. So yeah, good memories. I always remember the time where there wasn't enough room in the car for all of us to fit in, but what happened was I used to sit in the front footwell of you couldn't do it now, front footwell of my mum, in the front, because I was that small, and all the way to Wales sat in the front seat of front well of a seat. And it was just memories what I had, and there was some good memories, some really good memories. Going picking crabs up from the beach and hearing them squeal in the pan and things like that. Just learning things. Going fishing round Taylor Park. My mum bringing a bag of bread, feeding the ducks, sitting with us while we all went fishing. I wasn't a big fisher. I didn't like fishing and that, but I used to mess about and play while my brothers, our Graham and our Ian, was fishing. Our Colin was off doing his own thing anyway, so we never seen much of our Colin, because like I said, he was older. David was even older, so we never, every now and again we used to see David coming down with his wife at the time. And yeah, good old times. I always remember going to the little paddling pool at Taylor Park, and there was a glass bottle in there, and I cut all my toe open, and they ended up taking me to the boathouse. I'll show you the picture of the boathouse now. So we used to get on the little boats and go around the lake, and then obviously this big foghorn shouting you in, boat number such and such a thing coming. So that's how Taylor Park was basically a big part of our lives, Taylor Park. Even when we lived at Eccleston, because we used to go up there where the Red Rocks is, cut through, either go over the golfers field or cut round the corner where the farm was, and we used to end up in Taylor Park. Now this story is going somewhere. I'm not trying to drag it out, I'm basically telling you how I started and what it was like growing up. Now my dad, he never really come with us when we went on holiday to the caravan. He never come. It was usually my mum, my Uncle Alf, our Graham, our Ian, me and a couple of our friends. That's what usually come. But then while I was at school, obviously I ended up getting a girl pregnant and becoming a dad, which didn't help because the family was Catholics. Mum used to go to church, and the girl at the time who I was with, who I eventually married, she went to an all-girls school, and it was run by nuns, so that didn't help. So the girl I was with ended up getting tutored at home. As time went on, Danielle was growing up. Obviously we'd separated, and at that time in my life I started wondering about the situation of what our Graham said to me. My dad wasn't our dad, so it played on my mind at the age of about 22, 23. Then you get sidetracked, and then it comes back again. You're thinking, who was my dad? So you start asking questions. But before my mum died, my mum, we used to call, we never called her mum, I asked her, I said, Mum, can you just tell me who my dad is? And the reply was, your dad's your dad. And that's what I got. Don't get me wrong, my dad was absolutely brilliant. My dad who brought us up was absolutely brilliant. He brought us up, and my dad was my dad, as we call him, my dad. And my mum was absolutely brilliant with us. She was absolutely one in a million, my mum. And it was just that not knowing of what I was told and trying to find out. The most important people in my life at that time was my Uncle Len, my mum, my Uncle Alf and my dad. And that was the most important people in my life, and my brothers. I was at school, and I come home from school one day, and my Uncle Len had been took into hospital. My Uncle Len, later on that night, died. So it was a big loss. We always call him Uncle Len, Uncle Alf. We had my Uncle Arthur come and see us, and my Uncle Les used to come round, which is my mum's brothers. And like I said, it was a big loss losing my Uncle Len. And this was all before I become a dad anyway. My mum died in 1998. aged 69 years of age. The year I was born, 1969. When my mum died, I automatically thought to myself, basically, who was my dad then? Because my dad had died years ago. And I thought, well, who is my dad then? And it come out in some sort of conversation who it was. And I was shocked, but I didn't believe it. Didn't have any DNA evidence and things like that, because it wasn't well, it was around, but obviously it wasn't like it is now. So I wanted to find out who it was. So the person I was looking for, I was told who it was. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. So come and follow us in part 2 and see what happens next, because this has shocked me.